Welcome to the Germinate Podcast, where agriculture, business, and innovation take root and thrive. I'm Joe Sampson, and with nearly 2 decades of experience in agricultural equipment and scaling businesses, I'm here to bring you actionable insights, inspiring stories, and strategic advice. Whether you're an industry veteran or just starting out, this podcast is your guide to cultivating ideas, expanding your knowledge, and growing your venture. So let's get started and germinate your path to success. How many networking groups have you joined that meet a couple of times a year and fizzle out? I know a lot of us have. That is why we are creating the Momentum Networking Group. It's going to be led by myself and Mr. Jeremy Kredicke of Syngenta's digital strategy team. Our monthly virtual sessions are going to bring guest experts to help you grow and drive results to your company. Connect, learn, and build momentum together. That is the exact idea of the Momentum Networking Group. Sign up today at embosales.com/events. That's www.embosales.com/events. Okay, folks, welcome back to the Germinate Podcast. Before we get started, I'm going to go and thank a few sponsors. Number one is GBGI out of Chardon, Ohio, gbgiusa.com. Appreciate Mark and Pete and Jamie and Tamara and all the fine folks over at GBGI. Really can't do this podcast without you, so appreciate your support. If you're hearing this and you want to help support, reach out to Embo Sales, embosales.com, and we'll get that fired off. Also want to shout out to the Momentum Network that the next event is November 14th. We're recording this on October 23rd. So November 14th will be our next Momentum Network. Look forward to seeing you there. I think that's it with sponsors. That leaves it to my next guest here. He's an author. He's an entrepreneur. He's a leader of men. He's a man of faith. And he's one of those guys that I had a real good conversation with when we first had a chat. So I'm super excited to have Mr. Cory Carlson on the show today. So welcome aboard, Cory.
Joe, thank you very much for having me and grateful to be here. Yes, I agree. That first conversation was fun. And when you have those, it's just a blessing. You're just grateful because there are those conversations we have that aren't very life-giving. And it's like, oh, man.
Right? Who's this guy or who's that gal? But yeah, I don't know. I trust my vibe anymore. My vibe, my intuition, whatever you want to call it. When you get older up in age like me, we're getting close to 50. That's my trust in my gut is like the most important thing I trust these days over about anything else. So yeah,
agree.
I don't know. That's the way it works. So for those in my audience that don't know you and don't know what you're about, give everybody your elevator pitch here right off the bat. Fire away.
Been married 26 years, father of 3. They're 21, 17, and 13. So a little bit of everything from masters in college conversations to pee in the toilet, please. And then you mentioned faith. So faith's a big component. I just came out of a weekend where I camped with 4,000 other men in Southeast Ohio. I go to a great mega church in Cincinnati, and they have what's called man camp. And so we were out there, and it was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
And then for my day job, I come alongside leaders, specifically men, and my focus is to help them win at home, win at work. I do it through executive coaching, through speaking, published a couple books, run a community called Rise. And really my heart, Joe, is to help men. It's not an either or between home and work. It's a both and. And some people don't think you can have a success at both places. I, for one, was one of those individuals. I thought if I'm going to crush the corporate ladder, I'm going to kind of put home on pause. And while the kids are playing on the floor, I'll have my laptop on my lap and that I can succeed at work. And it doesn't have to be that way. And so that's what I do. And I'm grateful I get to do it. Been able to do it for 5.5 years full time. And 220 plus guys have gone through the program. So it's been pretty cool.
That's awesome. So 5.5 years. Were you in the corporate world before that, I'm assuming?
I was in the corporate world, civil engineer by degree, did civil engineering for a little bit out of school, Didn't like it. Not a slam on engineering, but I just didn't enjoy designing airport pavement sitting in a cubicle. I didn't feel like what I was supposed to do. Switched jobs into civil engineering sales of products. I sold storm sewer, sanitary sewer, bridges. I loved it. That was a great job. That took me from Kansas City to Denver, Colorado, where I got promoted to manage a bunch of people in states. And I got promoted to Cincinnati, which is where I live now. And at that time, I was vice president of a $120 million division. And Joe got in over my head in the standpoint of imposter syndrome. I just was waiting for them to kind of knock on the door, say, "Hey, we over promoted you. Go back out to the field.
Oh,
You're
really?
better at
Yeah.
sales than leading, this division." And the reason for that is I got promoted over my boss. I was now managing him. I was managing people older than me in the industry longer, and it had a negative effect on me personally, where I would skip the gym. I skipped quiet time. I was always want to make sure that my inbox was empty, the P&L looked perfect, and I needed help. So I went to my boss, who I did like and respected. I said, I need help. I mean, I didn't give him all of the dirty laundry, but I basically said, I need some help. He said, get a coach. I've always had one, and that was 2013. And I
Yeah.
hired a coach, and it changed my life. I know that sounds extreme, but one, it did. It's what I do for a living
Yeah.
now, so that did change. But it also just changed my life, Joe, because I was able to like zoom out. It wasn't just about email inbox and P&L, and those have their importance, no doubt about it. We have to do work to excellence. But I was able to zoom out and be, and what's my purpose? What are my priorities? As
Yeah.
opposed to being a buoy in water and allowing everyone else's priorities to be mine. And so that's what changed. So yes, I was in corporate and then transitioned into coaching, and now that's what I get to do full time.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that, we do need to have conversations sort of I don't want to say with an outsider, but maybe with a mediator. And that might not even be the right word, but we all, especially when you're stuck in the grind of the corporate world, it's there. I love your buoy reference because it's so true. You're taking on water and you're bobbing around, and here comes another wave, and then it might be still for a while, and then here comes another wave, and you're bobbing around, and it's the word grind that people talk about all over the place now. Like you got to keep grinding. I somewhat disagree with that. I don't think that's a very fruitful life. It can turn into ugliness and anxiety and depression and worry and fear and all those ugly words that nobody likes to be around. And then when you can have a conversation with somebody like you and just say, "Man, I'm up against it here. I need help." It's not an easy step for people to take, but once you do it, you realize it sounds like it sort of changed your life when you first initially had that first call, right?
Yeah, absolutely. After every coaching call or towards the end of a coaching call, I'll ask a client, "Hey, what was most valuable about our time today?" And there are times they'll point to a piece of content that was shared, or they'll point to some thought that was brought up either by me or even themselves.
Mhm.
But most of the time, they're just like, this whole call, having an outside perspective to bounce some ideas off of, whether they're business strategy or they're just checking their own mindset because of their own imposter syndrome or what's going on at home. And they'll say, just having someone on the outside to share this with, who comes with a business acumen as well as just some life experiences, is helpful. And more times than not, that is what they'll say. And that's why I still have a coach. I mean, I am a coach, but I have a coach because we can all get in our own head. And I have seen in my own life, I've witnessed it and been able to participate in other people's lives with this, is a coach can help you go to another level you didn't know was possible, because we have our own self-limiting beliefs, we have our own head trash, and if we're left to our own kind of you know, thoughts, we'll play small because, well, it didn't work that one time I tried it, and I launched that one business and it didn't work. Or I remember that one person said this about me. But by
Yep.
having a coach, they can help you push through those self-limiting beliefs and destroy them, help you remove the head trash and really go into more of, hey, what are you actually capable of doing? And so there's things I never would have thought I could have done, and I probably never would have done without a coach. I never would have published books. I'm a civil engineer by degree. I'm a sales guy by career. I never thought a book was in my future. But
Yeah.
thanks to a
Yeah.
coach and nudging and, the idea of writing a book came definitely from obedience in my quiet time. Like, hey, you should write a book. But I needed a coach to help push me, hold me accountable.
Yeah. Yeah. Hit a deadline and keep at it. And it's funny. I'm actually in the process of writing a book myself. Here's what happened to me. My wife and I get up early on weekends, and we get up early any day of the week. Get the hard stuff done first. But Saturday mornings is kind of our get up, have some coffee.
Yeah.
Kids are in bed. I have teenagers, so they sleep till whenever they sleep. And we're reflect, we're it used to be some reflection time and just enjoying a morning. There's nothing quite like a Saturday morning, in my opinion. But then I start looking at my phone and checking the scores and flipping through this, and I'm like, "Guys, I'm wasting valuable time here. I'm just gonna start writing thoughts that are in my head down on my laptop." I've always been a journal guy, and so I just started re-looking at those and started writing, and I'm like, "There's a story here. I don't
Cool.
even care if one person reads this book, but that one person I know will be like, 'I get you, man. I get you. I get where you're coming from.'" And so it was just that feeling of me wasting a bunch of time that was like, let's be productive instead of be wasteful. And anyway, my story and my story
What's
only,
your
but
book going to be about?
there's reflections of stories in my life. All of us in a 20-year career, because I was a 20-year corporate guy, but not corporate, but a family owned business. So I have a lot of stories to tell on everything, on how life intersects with business. And that's really what it's about. So a lot of things happen in my life that could stumble people or can really make you feel like you got a really big head. And both of those need to be kind of subdued. And there's a lot of faith in there because without God and without the presence of Jesus in my life, I realized slowly but
Yeah.
surely that I'm nothing. So yeah, sort of the intersection of life and business. That's a big broad theme, but there's stories of things that happened my life and how I either positively or negatively affected my day-to-day work and lessons in that. So that's really what it's about. Make
Great.
sense?
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
encourage you to get that book out. A few reasons. One, just the legacy of your kids getting to read it. And that part's cool. You will impact somebody who reads your book, which is pretty neat.
Yeah.
It also helps even right now where it will help even crystallize your own thoughts that you'll use in leadership and in your consulting business. Because by not
100%.
writing, you may have the spider web of thoughts, and then by writing, it comes down to like this topic are these three bullets. This topic is this framework, and it just helps you in your consulting and leadership position to be a clearer communicator than having not written the book. That's one of the pieces I've noticed.
There's a part in it called, I talk a lot about RGAs, revenue generating
Yep.
activities. Revenue does not just mean getting paid. It means the effort that you put in, and the revenue portion is the payback of that effort. And so RGAs, that's what we should all be focusing on these days, in my opinion. And there's a portion in there called the RGA engine, what steps you take to focus on the revenue generating activities or the priorities in your business. Not let's paint the wall green today. Let's change my email signature. Let's go to
Yep.
Bob's retirement party on Tuesday. What are we focusing on? Because I'm a firm believer in what, Jordan Peterson used to say. Get up in the morning, make your bed, you're gonna feel better. If you start and do something every day, you complete a task, you're gonna scientifically feel better about you. You're gonna build your confidence up. You're gonna feel better. And to me, it's a huge priority.
Right.
So, business has gotten very complicated with processes and meetings and peanut butter stuck in peanut butter is what I call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like Lombardi used to say, gentlemen, this is a football. It's pretty simple. Let's get back to the basics. And so you're right in there's framework in there that you didn't even realize. But as you write and create that framework, it's It's awesome, man. I
I
love it.
remember
I
that
love
from
it.
our first conversation because you said RGA. I'm like, no way. I use RGA to time block. I mean, my morning says
Nice.
RGA, and
Nice.
I learned that from a mentor, but I really haven't heard it much. And then you said it, and
No.
I was like, oh yeah, hey man, brothers from another mother.
Amen. Amen. Well, enough about me. Walk me back to when you're in the corporate world, you're in sales. You kinda I love what you said about imposter syndrome, by the way, too. I think that's important, and intelligent thought, a thought on your end. Not everybody thinks that way, but I think it's important. But you have this, and then all of a sudden you're going, I don't know how much longer I can do this, but I have a lot of value here, and I'm gonna take the leap. I'm gonna go out and start my own thing. Walk me through what that was like.
Yeah, the reason I want to start doing coaching is I was putting it into practice when I was leading this division. When I would
Okay.
travel or when I would be with my sales team, I was thinking like a coach. Like, how can I help them win at home and win at work? I took one more corporate move where I was president of sales for a national contractor. When I went into that role, I had been receiving coaching for a few years. So it was a muscle that I was, using and liking. So when I
Mhm.
would travel to a city to see one of the sales reps, I would talk about home and work. Home, are you dating your spouse? Are you intentional with your kids? Are you getting the gym? Are you doing quiet time? Work, what are our top 3 initiatives for this quarter? What's the hit rate on our proposals? And talk both home and work. When I saw they got better, it was one of these deals, Joe, where I was like, this helped me, but now the proof's in the pudding. It's helping call strangers. I mean, individuals that were on the team, and it was just powerful. I really, really wanted to figure out how to do it. Now, I didn't have the guts to quit work. I didn't have
Yeah.
the guts to leave a big time salary, a fancy title of president of sales, and go into low level coach, starting out at zero. I didn't have the guts to do it. I wanted to do it, but I didn't have the guts.
Yeah. That's a big cliff to jump
It's
off,
a big
right?
cliff, and those
Yeah.
that jump it on their own, awesome. All the
Yeah.
power to you. But there was a process, and God was working on me and even my wife to help us kind of peel back the onion. Some of it, which is identity. I mentioned the title. That was pretty cool. So just realizing my identity is not my title, even though I knew that at surface level conversation, deep down, I still had some issues I need to wrap through that my identity is not on my job title. It is knowing I'm a beloved son of God. The big salary idea going down to zero. I had to peel back the onion and work through that. Actually, God's my provider. Yes, I need to hustle. Yes, I need to work hard. Absolutely. But
Sure.
I need to have faith that God is a provider. And what's interesting, even when I went through that process, we think at times, the corporation, that's who's paying my bill. I could get fired at any moment from this company. And all of a sudden, what's up? What's my new plan?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
For my wife, she needed to kind of have what worked on. She believed a lot in that. I'm not going to say it's a lie, but of insurance. Oh man, if you work for a company, you're covered. Things are fine. If you go out on your own, you are hosed. And it's,
Yeah.
trust me, I would much rather have someone pay for my own insurance than me pay for it. Absolutely.
Of course, but
But it's not as
it's not
bad.
impossible.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not as bad as you hear about it in corporate. So we had these things to work on. So it took some time, Joe. So that was happening behind the scenes as I'm thinking about it. Well, then eventually, August 2016, I get fired.
Oh, wow,
We
okay.
were owned by private equity. We went to market to be sold. One of the companies said, yes, we want to buy you the 45th day of the 60-day due diligence period. They backed out. When they backed out, you're then known as a retrade, which is basically like a house. When a house goes off the market and then all of a sudden it's back on the market, people are like, I don't want that house.
Something's
What's
wrong.
someone
Yeah.
see?
Yeah, something's wrong
Same
here.
thing with
Yeah.
us. And that caused our owners our private equity company that owned us to, hey, we're changing things up. We're going to downsize. We're just going to focus on EBITDA and profitability. They got rid
We're
of
gonna make
some.
the books look really
Yep.
good here.
So
Yep.
we're
Yep.
getting rid of some people, and if we're not a national company anymore, we're more regional. We don't need a national president of sales. So I got fired. I called my wife. I said, babe, I got good news, bad news. Bad news is I just got fired. Good news is I got a 4-month severance package. Can I try coaching? And
Yeah,
she
exactly.
said, yeah, you have 4 months, then get a real job.
Yep,
So I
exactly.
hustled. In those
Yeah.
4 months, I hustled. And I didn't get coaching I got it to about 50%. Not a 50% what I used to make, but 50% to say, if I could find other work for this other 50%, I'm in. I'm going to do this. And back to God being the provider through random connections. A guy in Cincinnati who runs a manufacturing company said, yeah, I need a guy 50% of the time, help me with sales and marketing. That was it.
Perfect.
And I did 50-50 for a year or so, then went to 75-25, 75% coaching, 25% helping him, and then 90-10, and then eventually March 1st, 2020 went all into coaching.
Okay.
So I share that story just to help a listener in the standpoint of not all transitions have to go from all corporate to all entrepreneurial. There can
No.
be a season of stair stepping.
Yep.
And then I
Yep.
just share the pieces of identity and provision because those were big pieces. And even to this day, I help clients walk through a lot of that because that's, especially for you and I talking as men, man,
Yeah.
our identity of what we do can be pretty darn powerful and dominating our brains. The thought of provision and money and providing for the family can weigh heavy on us. And those are discussions I can have quite often with guys.
Well, it's almost like we were sold, we're probably roughly the same age, although I look a heck of a lot older. But the point is, we were sort of sold a bill of goods in our day. Go to college, get a degree, go go to a business, start at the bottom, work your way up, get eventually you'll get that title that everybody dreams of, put all your money in your 401k, work another 15, 20 years and retire and die.
Yeah.
That was the game plan, right?
Right.
Uh, it's like, there's gotta be more to life than this. There's gotta be, I can't think that's the only direction here to go. And you're right, it is really, really scary because you get that title and then you're like, that does become who you are, and you get the job that a lot of people dream of having. Like,
Mm.
I can't there's a bunch of my buddies that were like, "Joe, you're gonna do what? You've had this great job with a great
Yeah.
title, a great house, a great this, a great what are you doing?" And I'm like, well, we're gonna find out, we're gonna find out. So, yeah, I get that, man. It's scary. It's very, very scary. But in the same sense, if you surround yourself with the right people,
Right.
that's when you can see it elevate. That's when you
Yep.
see it just skyrocket and the momentum builds,
And how
right?
long have you done your consulting?
It'll be 9 months in 2 weeks. So
Yeah,
9 months.
sweet.
Yeah. And it's been I mean, slight of tearing up here. It's been just, uh, I don't know. I am so filled with the grace of God.
Mhm.
I don't even know. I couldn't have done it without him, without my wife having belief and faith in me
Yeah.
and my kids. And I think I was the last person to believe in myself, to be honest. And then once I looked in the mirror and said, all right, man, let's do this. You can do this. What are you scared? Quit being scared. That's the devil talking at you. Stop. And I don't know. It's been very, very great. I've been able to choose the people that I partner with, and they share the same goals and values that I have. And to me, that's where it's at, man. That's the good stuff. It doesn't even feel like work. It feels like
Yeah.
we're driving for a purpose together. And the victories and the wins that we've had are just amazing, and I look so much forward to what's in store here. There's a lot of cool stuff we're working on, and I'll unveil that to the world here shortly. But yeah, man,
Well,
it's been
congrats. That's
great.
pretty awesome.
Hey, folks, let's pause the podcast for a second to talk about one of the companies making the Germinate podcast possible. Want to give a huge thanks to GBGI. Here's Mark Adams.
Thanks, Joe. At our shop in Chardon, Ohio, every part we build is made with precision. From the CNC machining to the final inspection, we don't rush because we know your customers can't afford failure. If you're a dealer or OEM who wants reliability built in, give us a look. GBGI, built to spec, built to last. Learn more at gbgiusa.com. GBGI, grow with us.
I liked your win at home, win at work. And a lot of people know what it's like to win at work, but give me some, you've talked a little bit about winning at home, but is it a 50-50 priority to you, or is the win at home, I mean, how do you split those two up?
Yeah, I mean, a 50-50, no, I mean, heck, it's 100-100. I mean, I
I
want
got
to
you. Yeah.
I want to work hard and do great at my work, but I also want to work hard and be a great husband and father and friend to my friends.
Yeah.
I don't love the phrase work-life balance because it's never, in fact, a balance. I mean, there are seasons where we have to work really hard. There's a book deadline. Next week, I'm traveling for work, and I'll be gone speaking, and therefore, I'm not going to be with my family.
Yeah. Right.
But here's a few things that are different for leaders who want to win at both work and home. One is just an awareness that it is like a pendulum. When I go out next week to speak in Denver, I'm going to communicate with my family, let them know, hey, I'm traveling next week. It's not going to be like this last minute deal, like, oh, by the way, I'm out of town tomorrow. Like, we're going to know about it. We're going to talk about it. They're going to be a part of it. They're going to know why I'm going out to Denver, the talk I'm going to have. So it kind of helps family be a part of the mission.
Sure.
They'll be aware of that. And then when I come back, there'll be intentionality to recalibrate back the other direction to be all in on family. To make sure that weekend I'm hanging out with the family. My son and I shoot hoops, play basketball. My wife and I go on a date. Like, make sure I go back and forth. Where people mess up is they never recalibrate. It's work this week, travel. Oh, and then over the weekend, they're on their email working again and not necessarily connecting with the family. Then they go back out of town, and it's never a season to recalibrate and say, hold on. So that's a piece of it, is to just an awareness that there are times where you're going to be slammed at work, just like there's times you may be slammed at home with maybe someone has an illness, or you went on a week-long vacation and you hit pause on work a little bit. Another item on it is intentionality. At work, we're very intentional. We have one-on-one meetings with our direct reports where we're talking once a week or every other week, depending on the frequency. We put together a strategic plan for what that next year looks like. We have goals that we're measuring, KPIs, key performance indicators at work. So at work, we do strategy, we do vision, we measure it, but at home, we just wing it.
Yeah.
We just wing
exactly.
it. And there's no plan of dating your wife or husband for the women. There's no intention with the kids. There's no dreaming of what could be other than, I think we want to go to Europe next year. So what I do in my own life, and I'm not perfect at it, but I help clients with is, what are some of the KPIs that you want in your life? And so this framework, Joe, I walk clients through is win with an exclamation point. The W is, who do you want to become? When you think of different areas in life, who do you want to become? Like, what type of husband? What type of parent? What type of leader at work? Like, who do you want to become? And if you want to be a loving and serving spouse, okay. The next is the I. What are intentional actions you take? Well, if I'm going to be a loving, serving spouse, then I need to go on dates with my spouse. I need to hang out with my kids in one-on-one settings. We probably should do a vacation. I want to do a guy's trip with my friends. And then the N is, what are numbers that we're going to measure? What you inspect gets respect. So by me and my wife paying attention to how many dates we go on, do I do overnights with each of my kids? It happens. Just like, I want to read a chapter a day in the Bible. That helps me grow spiritually. I want to work out at least 4 times a week. All those items are helping me to, who do I want to become? And the last one is the exclamation point. It's to celebrate. When my wife are doing well, give a toast to each other to say, hey, man, thanks. This has been hard. So the acronym WIN with the exclamation point is, who do you want to become? Identify that for the different areas of your life. Write it down.
Yep,
Next
exactly.
is, what
I
are the
agree.
intentional actions you want to take? The N is how you measure it. What are those numbers you want to measure? And the exclamation point is make sure you celebrate. As leaders, we don't celebrate. It's just on to the
No.
next mountain. But yet, we need to celebrate.
Yeah. What about the importance of a habit? It sounds like you're creating some habits in there as well. Like when I get home, I'm intentional with my kids by going out and shooting ball or basketball with my son or whatever. There's a habit there instead of some people come home and open up the laptop right away and start working more, or whatever the case may be. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think, part of habits is also boundaries. In boundaries, I leave my laptop in my home office. I'm not taking it out to the couch anymore. I'm not taking it out into the main part of the house. I
Yep.
used to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm not doing that. I'm putting my phone on the counter. And so the phone's not, with me. At the dinner table, we have no phones at our dinner table. We are all
Yep.
present. We are talking. And if someone wants to get their phone to show a picture, it's like they ask permission. Dad, can I grab my phone? I want to show you a picture from this. Yes. We're not cutthroat, but we want connection.
Yeah.
My phone in the evening, I charge it in the kitchen. My bedroom's upstairs, and I do that intentionally. I'm trying to increase the gap from when I last look at my phone to when I go to bed. And I'm trying to increase the gap in the morning from when I wake up to I first grab my phone. The greater those gaps are, the more we are able to have our own thoughts, have gratitude, be more proactive, use it on gratitude, discernment. But once we're in our phone, we're reactive to others.
Yep.
So those are boundaries I've set up. And then from a habit standpoint, it's family dinners. It's kind of hanging out with our kids. Tonight is our date night, so my wife and I go on a date. My son's out of town on a field trip, so when he gets home, I'll make sure him and I get some one-on-one time of not only shooting hoops, but we have a rhythm every morning. My son and I, he's 13 years old. We do a devotion together at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And I love
Good
that.
for you.
And so there's
Yeah.
habits we have to put in place. Now, they're hard to roll out. There's rolled eyes. Come on, Dad. I don't want to do that. I'm too
Yeah.
tired. But once you get going, I mean, it's cool. It's worth it.
Yeah. Well, and then when you don't do it for that one day, it becomes hey, wait a minute, Dad, let's do.
Right.
You were gone Thursday, and I really missed the devotional, but I did it myself or whatever, and I think that's a huge win. And I love what you say about dinners, and it's once again, it's sort of Vince Lombardi-esque of Gentlemen, Here's a Football. It's
Yeah.
super simple, but I don't know. My daughter's a senior in high school, and my wife and I are very aware that she is about to take that next step in life where
Right.
she's not going to be around all the time. So the word intentional is probably what we're trying to say, but she gets home from swim practice and we all sit down together, four of us, and eat dinner. And of late, the last six months or so, they've been longer. It used to be everybody eats and we're done in 10 minutes.
Awesome.
But now we're just having these stupid, easy, silly, nonsensical conversations about whatever. But it's like the other day we had one, and I had the thought came into my brain. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, we're gonna miss this. This is
Well
I
done.
want to cherish this moment, for forever. And we were talking about nothing. It's not like it was a life change. It was who knows, it could have been ice cream or the wrapper of something. I mean, it was silly, but those are the types of conversations that you have in life that like I said, I stopped, I remembered it, and I'm like, I'm zapping this, I'm locking this in the brain, man, because these don't happen every day. Your kids grow up fast and they're gone fast, and sure, they annoy us, and sure, they're this, but I tell you, they're going to be gone real quick. Man, it happens.
I know.
Right?
I'm living it.
Yeah.
I'm living it. Now, heck, I've lived it for 4 years. I mean, because she's in her master's now in South Carolina. So it's hard. And, that verse, teach us to number our days so that we may have wisdom. And that is the idea. By numbering our days, how many, you have 18 summers of a kid in your house. What are you doing about those summers? How can you be intentional as opposed to just winging it? You know,
Yeah, that's crazy you say that. That's this type of stuff makes me nervous when we start talking. There's only 18 summers, and
only
yeah,
18
but
summers, and
yeah,
you've already burned through a few of them, and it sounds like you've been intentional and done well. But it's just all the time how can we number our days? For those of us that have parents that are aging, there's some number of days that are left of where we can hang out and spend time with them. So we need to go spend time with them.
yep, yep,
And we don't know when our time is going to come. I was at my cousin's wedding a few weeks ago. He's 50, or not wedding, funeral. Totally end of the spectrum. Other end of the spectrum. Not a
yeah.
wedding, which is fine.
Yikes!
A funeral, which is not.
I was excited there, but
52
yeah.
years old.
Dang,
He had a
dang.
2-year battle with kidney cancer. Super sad. But you go there, and I remember just leaving there and having like these 3 emotions. One, sadness, for sure. We all get sad when a funeral happens. It's awful, with tons of tears. But this next one was just there's this happiness. There's this joy, because our that side of the family, that group, we all just love each other. We haven't seen each other in a while. We all live in different parts of the country, but getting together, just like old times. And there were stories, and there was big hugs, and there's a lot of laughter. It was, even though we were at a funeral, it still was life-giving. And
Yeah,
then the
right.
third emotion I was feeling was just that sense of urgency. My cousin, his name was Cody. You could just hear at the different eulogies that were mentioned. His son said he was a great father. His coworker said he was a great coworker / he was an undercover cop. And everyone spoke to, he was great in those different lanes that they knew him. And that's just a reminder of all of us. We just don't want everyone to say he was an amazing coworker, but yet our kids won't say anything amazing at our funeral because we weren't around.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
our spouse doesn't, not all usually spouses don't speak at funerals because they can't talk. They're crying too much.
yeah. Right, right.
But just same thing. And so it just a sense of urgency. And then that reminder, I want to get out there and just keep spreading the good news, that so people not only have a life of eternity, but even as John 17:3 says, that eternal life is like now, the eternal life is that they all know who the one true God is and Jesus Christ who sent them. That idea in John 17 is that eternal life starts now. Like once we become a relationship, it starts now. And I just leave with that sense of urgency. I want to be sharing that. I want people to have that joy and that peace and that hope.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. We're living it right now. It's here. It's here on Earth. You just got to open up your eyes and open up your ears, and it's here. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting on a funeral perspective. And I just had a friend whose father passed away. We're getting to the age where that's starting to happen, and his dad and were best friends. I lost my father passed 10 years ago, so it's been a while, but we were best buds. I mean, he was my hero,
Oh,
and so it brought back those memories of what my dad went through and talking to him. And this was a childhood friend that I've known since we were 7 years old. And he was crushed, just crushed. And we're actually going to get together tonight and go have dinner, him and another, us 3 neighborhood kids,
oh,
and
cool.
it's going to be great because I'm going to miss the funeral. It's next week, and I'm going to be at a conference. And I told him that. But yeah, sure, I'm crushed, but you're right. I'm super excited to see him again and just talk to him. And, it's been 5 years since we've seen each other, and it'll just
Mm-hmm.
be nice to get together and talk about the old days and talk about his dad and talk about the sadness and all the things. It helps you. I remember that when I lost my dad, just having conversations with people either about him or through him and a memory about him makes you feel better. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he did leave a mark, and so that's unfortunate about a funeral, but maybe fortunate about a funeral.
Mm-hmm.
Those things happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely can be a catalyst for change for many people.
Yeah. Amen. So talk about, you're coaching. You also have this thing I checked out, Rise. It's a very, very cool network
Join us. Come
of,
on.
yeah, exactly. a cool network of men. Well, I'll let you say it. You created Rise for a reason and a purpose. What's that reason and a purpose?
Yeah, I did it for two reasons. The tactical reason. The other reason, I mean, just kind of in a quiet time, I just felt this nudge to go build a community. Like it's needed out there. And yes, there's tons of communities out there. We need more and more communities. Even though we are more connected now than we've ever been through phones and social media, we are more disconnected than we've ever been.
Intelligent point. Yes.
Loneliness is rampant throughout both men and women, but for men, it is very high. Men are not doing well. And so for me, I wanted to build community. There's a lot of communities out there. I mean, I definitely had that head trash of we don't need another community, Cory. No one's going to sign up. I mean, I had all that same junk everyone else has when they do something new.
Yeah.
I'm not immune to it. But the reason I pushed through, the reason I wanted community was two reasons. Is I coach a lot of different individuals in one-on-one coaching. And in the conversation, it's like, man, I wish Brad, I wish you knew John. And that'd be so cool. And so there's an element of, I'm blessed to work with a lot of awesome guys. And if those guys could all get to know each other, that'd be great. So that was one reason. The other reason is executive coaching is a higher price point. It's a higher investment. And some people, even if they can afford it, don't want to do it. They're like, oh, I'm not doing that. I mean, I could go buy some sweet cars with that money or whatever.
Right.
So, but there's individuals who obviously are willing to pay for it because they know there's an ROI across all areas of their life when they do it. But not everyone can afford it. But there are people that I know want coaching. They want to invest in themselves. They want to be surrounded by community at a lower price point. So Rise Communities at $295 a month. And with that comes 4 calls a month every Monday. I'm coaching leadership content, 2 of those calls a month that it's the same content I'm sharing in my one-on-one.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's the same content that works there for guys that are running $500 million companies to inside Rise to their solopreneurs. There actually are CEOs in there of different companies. So you have that piece. The third call of the month is guest speakers, like legit guest speakers that are paid $10,000, $20,000 to go speak to companies. They're coming in and speaking to Rise.
Nice.
And it's incredible. The guy we had on on Monday, a guy named Randy Gravitt. He's written some cool books that I've read and been blessed by. And he goes and he was a leadership coach for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Okay.
And the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
They spend money to have him. And fortunately, he said yes to us because we've built a relationship over the years. And so anyways, for that $295, you're getting incredible content, but you're also getting community of individuals who want to win at home, work, and in their faith.
Yep.
And so with that, it's been a lot of fun and seeing guys change, seeing guys start to date their wives, start to get back to the gym, be intentional at work, have purpose.
Yeah.
And so it's been very life-giving.
That's awesome.
It's also hard. You're trying to grow a community and you get new people, you lose someone, and you got to go find new content, new speakers. But hey, so far, it's as a coach asked me, is the juice worth the squeeze? Yes, it is worth the squeeze for sure because men are getting better.
Yeah. I love that. And you have a portion in Rise too, where you kind of have I don't want to call it like maybe a dashboard. That's the wrong way.
A community. Yeah.
Like a community where you can talk to one another, you can post to one another, you can say what's on your mind. What's that used for? Is that really what it is? Just different.
Yeah, it's it's an app and it is a feed. It's not a social media feed. It's not like LinkedIn. I don't want to say all LinkedIn surface level, but just kind of service level. I look at me, I went and did this. This feed is going deeper. It's not service. We're going to a little bit more deeper conversations. You know, my wife and I aren't connecting as well as we like. What do you guys do?
Okay. Okay.
What's out
So
there?
you're getting way
Yeah.
deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Or someone throws in and shares a Bible verse. Just this week, someone had a mentor pass away. And so he kind of typed up somewhat of a eulogy and shared some of the things that this individual did in his life. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's deeper than social media.
Yeah. Then, here's what conference I'm going to be at
Yeah.
next
Here's the
week or where you.
conference. Yeah. Look at
Yeah.
me. I'm
Right.
awesome. And I
Social
can't throw
media.
stones because I do that too on LinkedIn. So,
Well, yeah, it's hard if you're not going to build your brand, then somebody's going to do it for you. Is the way
yeah.
I look at it. But it's also vulnerable. You got to show your vulnerability. And it's a little awkward, but it's necessary. It's got to be done. But
Right.
your feed inside your community, I like it. It goes deeper. You can be a little bit more. This is the real stuff. This
Right.
is the real stuff that's going on, and I need some help with. So you can kind of coach each other through it, or get
Mhm.
advice, or
Yep.
it's like-minded men going through it together.
And it's like everything, though. I mean, not everyone's using it. Not, it's kind of like LinkedIn, right? There's a lot of readers and
Yeah.
consumers, and not necessarily a ton of creators and contributors. But it does happen. I mean, we've got about 90 folks inside Rise right now, and you got a handful of posts a week, just to give you perspective.
Okay. Okay.
If you had way too many, it'd probably be overwhelming. People are like, forget this, I'm shutting this off.
Yeah, well, then it becomes another social media thing
Yeah.
that you have to
Yeah.
manage and look at, and I got you. So, tell me the names of your books again. You have multiple books, don't you?
2 books. Yeah, first book is called Win at Home First. And
Okay.
this, I wrote the book because I lost at home first. And I
Yep.
I had a mentor say that wisdom is spelled WISDUMB. It's from the dumb mistakes we made. So the wisdom
Yep.
inside that book is from dumb mistakes I've made and how I was able to rebound and have a marriage of 26 years and have kids that want to hang out with me is because, I mean, thanks to God redeeming it, but also just hard work of making sure it happens. So in the book, Win Home First, it's 4 parts. First part's you, second's marriage, third's parenting, fourth is work.
Okay.
Someone at Forbes magazine says one of 7 books everyone on your team should read. So that was
Nice.
pretty cool when that came out a few years ago. Therefore, got some traction out of the gates. And then my most recent book is called Rise and Go. And it's this idea that all leaders get knocked down, whether it's a big knockdown, a small knockdown. But the great leaders just get back up quicker. And so what could it look like in your life the next time you're knocked down, you get up quicker? And this book has 20 chapters that have scripture, some content / frameworks, ideas that help you get back up.
Well, first of all, congratulations on those 2, and second of all, I'm guessing you're not done writing books. I think you get the itch and you just kind of keep going, right? Now you're getting all your thoughts down on paper, so you probably have an idea already for another one, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, working on it now. Writing a book is hard, as you know right now. You're going through it, and I'm working on it, but it's not flowing at the minute. Anyways, but yeah, some will be coming.
I've had right now I've got, like, at one point in time I had about 12 chapters done.
Yeah.
And then I sort of rewrote the first 3 the intro and the first 3 chapters. So now that forced me to rewrite every other chapter. I don't know why that's the way my brain works, but it does. And so now I've got about 9 chapters done this
Cool.
would be the 3rd rewrite. So we're getting close. I think I've finally narrowed down, to your point. Sometimes you got to get the framing right, but yeah, man, it's exciting. It's also motivating. It's also vulnerability showing, because once you let that out there, there's no going back, and everybody sees it. And there's stories in there that maybe people knew about me and my life, and maybe they didn't, that hopefully can help everybody else. So I have a spot in my heart for people like you that are doing it. And you say you didn't jump off a cliff, man, but I think you jumped, you just had a parachute, and it's not easy. Everybody now looks at kind of what we do and say, "Oh man, I want to do that." I'm like, well, it's not easy. You gotta, you've got to your point, you got to be super intentional about what it is you're doing each and every day. And to me, that's the love, but to others, that could be like, wait a minute here.
Yeah.
What did I get myself into? There's no comfort in this. And, I enjoy the struggle, and biblically, the struggle is real too. That's where we learn the lessons. That's how we gain wisdom, experience.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going to get my advice from, right?
Yeah, and we're promised trials and tribulations, so
Amen. Yeah.
it shouldn't be easy.
Yeah.
So just choose your heart.
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, man, I appreciate getting to know you. I know this won't be the end of you and I. We will stay in touch. Thank you so much for doing this podcast. Tell people how to get in touch with you, how to get your book, how to get join Rise. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's my website's Cory M. Carlson. I know that'll be in the show notes, but CoryMCarlson.com. Go there, subscribe. You'll get a 10 ways to win at home and work, a tool that people have really appreciated and liked. And so you can just get some ideas of 10 ways and grab one of those ideas and work on implementing. If that works, grab a second one.
There you go.
There's a resource there for you at CoryMCarlson.com. And then there's blogs, access to podcasts, and my books there. And then for those on social media, I love LinkedIn. And that's how you and I met, Joe.
Yep.
So follow me on LinkedIn or connect.
Yeah, you're a great follow on LinkedIn. I'll put your LinkedIn in the show notes, CoryMCarlson.com in the show notes. And yeah, I love your posts. They're easy to follow. They're tangible. You can do it and take action right then and there. So,
well, thanks.
Kudos to you, my man. I appreciate you. It's very good to know you. I can't wait to see what's more in store for you and what's in store for you and I. I think we will stay connected here and continue to build some momentum between us here in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cory Carlson. Thank you, man.
Thanks, Joe. And get that book done so I can read it.
All right, 10-4.
I need some inspiration.
That's an order.
There you go. All right, sweet.
All right.
Thank you.
See ya. Reach driven leaders with the Germinate Podcast. Sponsor our show to align your brand with actionable insights and purposeful growth. Contact us today at embosales.com/podcast. That's www.embosales.com/podcast to partner and inspire our growing audience of professionals. Hey folks, thanks for tuning into the Germinate Podcast. If you found value in today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others in the industry. And join me next time as we continue to explore the innovations and strategies shaping the future of agriculture and business. Until then, keep growing, keep innovating, and keep germinating your success.